I sit in my beat-up Toyota Corolla, parked in front of our house in La Jolla, San Diego. The engine's off, but I'm not ready to get out. The light from the living room windows spills out, warm yellow but cold, like it's pulling me into a battle I've already seen coming. My phone buzzes softly, the screen lighting up with a message from the family group chat. Megan, my wife, writes, emergency family meeting. 7 p.m. Ethan needs our help with his situation. The word situation carries a mix of disappointment and anxiety, like a carefully chosen accusation. I give a faint smile, not out of joy, but at how my family turns my dream into a problem that needs rescuing. For the past 2 years, ever since I left my CFO position at a major San Diego corporation to start SolarCore Technologies, a company developing solar panels and energy storage systems, my family has seen it as a mistake. To them, I'm a 43-year-old, now 45, guy going through a midlife crisis, gambling our family's future on a pipe dream. The subtle jabs from my brother James, the worried calls from Megan, the head shakes from my parents, Eleanor and Charles. It's all a repetitive chorus, reminding me I'm failing. They never ask what I'm working on, never want to understand. They only see the old car I drive, the small apartment I rent, and the late nights I work. I check my watch, 6:57 p.m. 3 minutes until the meeting starts, but I stay put, savoring the last moment of quiet.
Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the latest video.
Our house sits on a quiet street in La Jolla, lined with towering palms and perfectly trimmed lawns. This is the place Megan and I bought 10 years ago, when I was still a prestigious CFO, when she'd brag about me to friends like I was a trophy. Now this house is a battleground for arguments about Ava's college tuition, our retirement fund, and my mistake of starting a business. I look at my Toyota Corolla, dwarfed by James's Mercedes, Mark's BMW, my brother-in-law, and Megan's Lexus in the circular driveway. It's a reminder that I no longer belong in their world, at least in their eyes. My phone buzzes again. A message from Noah, SolarCore's CFO. Forbes article drops at 8 p.m. You ready, boss? I text back. Perfect. Meeting starts at 7. Couldn't be better timing. Noah replies instantly. Need backup? I can send a car. I chuckle softly. No need. Something better's coming. I check the rearview mirror. No expensive suit, no fancy watch. Just a jacket from Goodwill, a plain white shirt, hair neatly combed. I want them to think I'm struggling, barely affording decent clothes. It'll make what's coming sweeter. I step out of the car, the San Diego air cool, carrying a faint salty breeze from the nearby Pacific coast. The door opens before I can knock. Megan stands there, wearing a navy work dress, hair pinned up, makeup flawless but not hiding the worry lines around her eyes. Ethan, you're late, she says. Her voice soft but sharp as a knife. 2 minutes, Meg, I reply, keeping my tone calm. Details matter in business. Ethan, she says, leading me inside. Something you should consider, with your current situation. The living room is set up like a courtroom. My dad, Charles, stands by the fireplace, his retired engineer's rigid posture still commanding. My mom, Eleanor, sits in an armchair, holding a glass of wine, her eyes full of pity. James, my brother, sits on the leather couch beside his wife, both radiating the smugness of a renowned doctor. Mark, my brother-in-law, sits next to Megan, his fake smile showing off his gleaming teeth, like he's waiting to watch me crash. Ava, our 16-year-old daughter, sits in the far corner, clutching her phone, her eyes flickering between me and her mom. They've even called in Aunt Helen, Megan's sister, as extra reinforcement. The air is heavy, like I'm the defendant in a case where the verdict's already been decided. I choose the hardest chair in the room, facing them all. Charles clears his throat, starting. We're here because we're worried about you, Ethan, about your situation. My situation, I repeat, my voice flat, meeting his eyes. Megan corrects him, her tone sharp, about your choices. 2 years ago, you had everything. A prestigious job, a beautiful house in La Jolla, a happy family. And now, Charles waves his hand, gesturing at the air. Working in a small office, driving that old car, working for, what, a startup? Startup, Mark chimes in, emphasizing the word with a mocking smile. Those startups are supposed to have growth potential, right? He sips his wine, his eyes smug. I recall him pitching a project to one of my subsidiary companies last month, unaware I was behind it. It was rejected for lacking vision. I stay silent, letting him dig his own grave. James gives a soft laugh, the kind from someone who always thinks they're right. I've looked into the renewable energy sector, Ethan. It's saturated. No room for newcomers unless you've got billions. Megan sighs. We're just trying to help, Ethan. There's no shame in admitting something isn't working. McKinsey would take you back in a heartbeat. Aunt Helen here, Eleanor says, pointing to Megan's sister, has a daughter who just got promoted at McKinsey. Youngest in the company's history. That could have been you, Ethan, if you hadn't thrown it all away. I glance at Ava. She's looking down, her hands gripping her phone tightly. I want to tell her I'm not failing, that I'm building something big, but it's not time yet. I check my watch, 7:10 p.m., 50 minutes until the Forbes article drops. Megan presses on, her voice tense. You don't even tell us what your company does. All this secrecy, these long hours, and what do you have to show for it? I smile, making Megan frown. What's so funny, Ethan? She asks, her voice almost angry. Just thinking how dedicated you all are. I reply, letting a hint of sarcasm slip through. Megan shakes her head. We're not here to laugh, Ethan. We're here to face reality. Your company is failing. You need a new plan. I look around the room, from my mom's pitying gaze, James's smugness, Mark's fake smile, to Megan's anxiety. Ava's the only one not judging, but she's too young to understand. My phone buzzes softly. Noah texts. 40 minutes to go, ready to shut them up. I text back. They'll shut themselves up. I sit up straight waiting. The truth will speak for itself soon. I sit on the hard chair in the living room, facing the whole family, feeling like a gladiator about to enter the arena. Megan looks at me, her eyes both angry and pleading. Ethan, you need to be realistic. Your company's going nowhere. McKinsey would take you back in a heartbeat. Please, for Ava, for us. Her voice trembles slightly, but I know it's not weakness. It's the frustration of a wife who once trusted me completely, now seeing me as a dreamer dragging our family down. James, my brother, cuts in, his patronizing tone all too familiar. Ethan, I can make a call to someone at a big healthcare company. Real work, good pay, benefits. Not this. He waves his hand, as if SolarCore Technologies, the company I've poured my sweat and heart into for 2 years, is just a childish prank. Mark, my brother-in-law, smirks, sipping his wine. I check my watch, 7:43 p.m., 17 minutes until the Forbes article drops. I sit up straight, keeping my voice calm. Are you all done, or is there more? Megan frowns, sensing the sarcasm in my tone, but she doesn't respond. The moment is getting close. My dad, Charles, stands up, his posture as rigid as when he used to present at his engineering firm. We're here to talk about your failing company, Ethan. To plan your next steps. No more avoiding reality. Right then Ava's phone buzzes. She looks at the screen, then drops the phone onto the couch, her eyes wide. Oh my God, Ava whispers, her voice shaking, then louder. Why is Dad's face on the Forbes 30 under 50 list? The room freezes. Megan's wine glass stops halfway to her lips. James lunges forward, grabbing Ava's phone. No way, he mutters, scrolling frantically. This is wrong. Ethan Brooks, 45, founder and CEO of SolarCore Technologies. Valued at this has to be a mistake. He looks up, his face pale. $3 billion. I say, my voice calm, almost gentle. That's SolarCore's current valuation, after our latest funding round. Though that number's a bit outdated now. Charles slumps back into his chair, repeating in disbelief. $3 billion. Megan stares at me, her mouth slightly open, her wine glass trembling in her hand. But you never said anything. You never asked, I reply, standing up, adjusting my goodwill jacket. You were too busy judging my failure to see my success. I pull out my phone, opening an investor presentation I always carry. Want to know what my company does? SolarCore Technologies develops solar panels with double the efficiency of competitors and energy storage systems for smart grids. We're changing how the world uses energy. The small apartment I rent. It's actually the smallest unit in a building I own. The old Toyota, I bought it because it's practical, like any good investment should be. The living room is silent as a tomb. Ava looks at me, her eyes shining with pride, but tinged with confusion. James scrolls through the phone, trying to find a flaw in the article. Mark sits rigid, his fake smile gone, like he swallowed something bitter. Eleanor and Charles exchange glances, while Aunt Helen starts typing on her phone, probably calling someone to verify the news. Megan still holds her wine glass, but her hand shakes so much a few drops spill onto the table. I check my watch 7:55 p.m. The article posted a few minutes early. Ava's phone starts buzzing non-stop, notifications flooding in from social media. I look at my family, their shocked faces, their shattered assumptions, their crumbling judgments. And that's why I say, my voice steady, in about 2 minutes, Forbes will run a feature on how a 45-year-old guy built a billion-dollar energy empire, while his family thought he was failing. James mutters, almost to himself, "No way, 3 billion. Actually, I check my phone as a text from Noah comes in. It's 4 billion now. We just signed a new deal with Apple. I stand tall, adjusting my jacket. I'd tell you more, but I've got a video interview with CNBC in an hour. They're doing a special on leaders, disrupting the energy industry." I walk toward the door, feeling their eyes glued to my back. Megan whispers, her voice tiny, "But, why didn't you tell me?" I pause, turning back to look at her, then at the whole room, faces that were once so sure they knew me, that I was a failure. Because sometimes I say, my voice slow, the best way to succeed is to let others underestimate you. It's amazing what you can achieve when no one's watching. My phone buzzes again. "The car's here," I say smiling. Not the Toyota this time. This one's pricier. Comes with a Forbes photo shoot. I open the door, step outside, leaving my family in stunned silence, and prepare for what's next. I step out of the house in La Jolla. The door closes behind me, but the stunned silence of my family still echoes in my head. Megan, James, Mark, my parents, they're all still grappling with the Forbes article, with the truth that I, Ethan Brooks, am not the failure they thought. I stand by my beat-up Toyota Corolla, watching the streetlights reflect off its faded silver paint. This moment, when my family's beliefs were turned upside down, should have made me triumphant. But instead, I feel a void, not because of them, but because of the years I spent living up to others' expectations. I close my eyes, and memories flood back, pulling me 20 years into the past, when my dream of renewable energy was buried. I'm 25, fresh out of UC Berkeley's engineering program, standing in the school's small lab, holding a homemade solar panel model. It's not perfect, just a small panel, low efficiency, but it can power a light bulb for a few hours. To me, it's magic. I dream of a world powered by clean energy, where panels like this change how we live. I told my parents, Eleanor and Charles, about that dream over a family dinner. But my dad, with his pragmatic engineer's mindset, shook his head. "Renewable energy, that industry's not mature, Ethan. You need a stable job. Finance is hot right now. Don't waste your degree." My mom was gentler, but agreed. "We just want you to be safe, son. A good job, a happy family, that's success." I wanted to argue, to say that success isn't about working in a fancy office or driving a nice car. But I was 25, full of ambition, but also fear. I listened to them. I left Berkeley, moved to San Francisco, and joined a financial corporation. In the years that followed, I climbed the corporate ladder, becoming a CFO before 40. Corner office on a high floor, Armani suits, wine-soaked client dinners. I had everything my parents called success. But every night, sitting alone in my upscale apartment, I felt empty. I remembered that solar panel model, now gathering dust in my parents' storage shed. I remembered the thrill, when the bulb lit up, the feeling that I could change the world. Then I met Megan. She was a smart, ambitious accountant, with a smile that made me forget my loneliness. We fell in love, got married, bought the house in La Jolla, and had Ava. Megan was the only one I ever told about my renewable energy dream, back in our early dating days. She listened, her eyes sparkling, but said, "Sounds great, Ethan, but let's be practical. We need to build a stable life." I nodded, tucked the dream away, and kept being the husband and father she needed. But the dream didn't die. It simmered, like a small flame in my chest. 2 years ago, at 43, I couldn't take it anymore. I looked at Ava, 14, growing up with her own dreams, and asked myself, if I don't dare live for my dream, what will I teach her? I quit my CFO job, founded SolarCore Technologies, and started in a small office in Chula Vista. Megan was shocked. My family thought I'd lost my mind. But I knew what I was doing. I kept it secret, not because I didn't trust them, but because I needed to protect this dream from the judgments that nearly killed it 20 years ago. I opened my eyes, back in the present. The luxury car Noah sent is here, parked a few feet away, gleaming under the street lights. I smile, not because of the car, but because I've proven what I always knew. My dream wasn't childish. SolarCore isn't just a company, it's proof I can succeed on my terms. But as I walk toward the car, I think of Megan, of her hurt look, when she learned I hid everything from her. I think of Ava, wondering if she understands what her dad fought for. The truth is out, but I know this journey isn't over. My family will have to learn to see me, not the Ethan from 20 years ago, but the Ethan of today. As the car glides through palm-lined streets, my phone buzzes constantly. Messages from family, old friends, even distant relatives I haven't seen in decades. But I don't read them. I need to focus on the upcoming CNBC interview. Back at the house, the air is still heavy when I return. After the interview, I've told the world about SolarCore's vision, high-efficiency solar panels and storage systems that can power millions of homes with clean energy. But in this living room, my family still looks at me like a puzzle to solve. Megan stands, her eyes wavering between anger and hurt. "Ethan, why didn't you tell me anything?" she asks, her voice small but sharp. "I'm your wife. I should have known." I look at her, searching for words. "Meg, you never asked. You were too busy worrying about Ava's tuition, our retirement fund, about me failing. I wanted to shield you from the pressure, but you didn't give me a chance to share either." James, my brother, clears his throat, trying to regain his smug air. "Ethan, you did well, okay? But you didn't have to be so secretive. We're family. I could have helped, you know? I know some people in the energy sector." He smiles, like he's trying to hitch a ride on my success. I raise an eyebrow. "Help? Like how you helped with your go back to McKinsey advice?" James, he goes quiet, his face reddening. I turn to Mark, my brother-in-law, who's been rigid since the Forbes article dropped. "What about you, Mark? Got anything to say? Like about the project you pitched to Bennett Ventures last month?" Mark pales, his fake smile vanishing. "Bennett Ventures, how do you know?" He trails off, realizing he's trapped himself. "Because it's a SolarCore subsidiary." I say, my voice flat. "I heard the whole pitch. You called my company a joke, told investors, the renewable energy sector has no room for people like me. Your project was rejected for lack of vision, Mark. Not because I'm short on cash." Megan covers her mouth, shocked. "Mark, what did you do?" She whispers, looking at her brother-in-law, like she's seeing his true self for the first time. Mark stammers, but can't find an excuse. I look at him, feeling a mix of victory and exhaustion. Mark isn't an enemy, just a smug guy who underestimated me. Like my whole family. My dad, Charles, speaks up, his voice softer than usual. "Ethan, we were just worried about you. We thought you were lost." My mom, Eleanor, nods, her eyes glistening. "We just wanted you to be safe, son." I sigh. Safe. 20 years of living by your definition of safe made me forget who I was. SolarCore isn't being lost. It's my path. Suddenly Ava, my daughter, stands up from the corner of the room. She steps forward, her eyes shining but her voice trembling. "Dad, I'm proud of you," she says, almost a whisper. "But, I'm worried about you and Mom. You don't talk like you used to." Ava's words hit like a knife. I look at her, seeing eyes like Megan's from 20 years ago. Full of trust but also fear. I put a hand on her shoulder. Ava, I promise I'll be more open. With you and with Mom. But I need you to believe I did all this for our family. She nods, hugging me quickly before returning to her seat, as if afraid to break the moment. The scene shifts to a high-end restaurant in downtown San Diego, where I meet Rachel Lee, a renowned venture capitalist in the energy sector. I sit across from her, the lights of San Diego Bay reflecting through the glass windows. Rachel, with short hair and sharp eyes, smiles. Ethan, the Forbes article has the industry buzzing. SolarCore's panels could be a game changer. I want to invest, but I need to know how far you're planning to go. I sip my water, keeping my voice steady. Rachel, SolarCore isn't just making panels. We're building a global clean energy network. But I choose partners carefully. I don't need money. I need vision. She nods, clearly impressed. But then a familiar voice cuts through. Ethan Brooks, long time no see. I turn to see Daniel, an old colleague from my finance days. He once called my energy dreams pie in the sky, told me to keep my feet on the ground. Now he's here, fake smile, trying to shake my hand. Daniel, I say, my voice cold. How'd you know I was here? Your mom mentioned you've got an office in San Diego. He says, winking, thought I'd drop by, for old time's sake. I cut him off. Old times? You mean when you said renewable energy is for hippies? Ethan, stick to finance. I stand looking him in the eye. I don't work with people who underestimate me, Daniel. Rachel, excuse me, I have to go. I leave the restaurant, a sense of freedom rising. Daniel, Mark, even my family. They all thought they knew who I was. But I'm not the Ethan from 20 years ago, living by others' expectations. I'm Ethan Brooks, who built SolarCore. And I'm not done. As I get in the car, my phone buzzes. A text from Ava. Dad, I love you. I smile, knowing that at least I have one person who's always believed in me. I'm in the car, San Diego's streetlights, flashing by the window, bringing the cool bite of the ocean. After the confrontation with Daniel at the restaurant, and my family's half-hearted apologies, I feel a mix of freedom and exhaustion. The Forbes article turned everything upside down, but it also opened a new battlefield, not just with my family, but with the world now watching SolarCore Technologies. My phone keeps buzzing, texts from Megan, James, even Mark, but I don't read them. Only one message stops me. Ava's text, Dad, I love you. I smile, my heart lighter. Even if the whole world judges me, I know I've still got her. The car pulls up to SolarCore's headquarters in downtown San Diego, a glass tower gleaming in the city center. From the outside, it looks like any other tech building, modern, discreet, understated. I like it that way. I designed the office to be invisible from the street, with tinted glass and a minimalist sign. Inside, it's a different world. I walk through the doors, and the security guard nods. Good evening, Mr. Brooks. I nod back, feeling like I'm coming home. The top floor is my office, a wide but simple space. A recycled wood desk, ergonomic chair, and walls covered in whiteboards, filled with chemical equations and solar panel diagrams. One corner has a large screen, showing real-time data, contracts with Tesla, Walmart, and now Apple. SolarCore isn't just making solar panels. We're building energy storage systems to power entire cities with clean energy. I stand by the window, looking out at San Diego Bay, where the city lights shimmer like stars. This is the empire I built in secret, while my family thought I was falling apart. My assistant Ling appears at the door. Your family's been calling the office since morning, she says, checking her tablet. Megan tried to talk her way past the front desk to see you, but security followed protocol. I give a faint smile. Of course she tried. I recall Megan's hurt look when she learned I hid SolarCore from her. Anything else, Ling? James posted on LinkedIn, bragging about his talented brothers, and tagged you. Ling says, raising an eyebrow. PR wants to know how to handle it. No response needed, I say. Let him figure out how to connect. James, who always saw me as a lost cause, now wants to bask in my spotlight. It's laughable. I prepare for the CNBC interview, taking place at a studio in downtown San Diego. As I step in, the studio lights are blinding, but I keep my composure. The host, a woman with a sharp voice, dives right in. Ethan Brooks. Forbes called you the energy industry's game changer. SolarCore Technologies is worth $4 billion. Yet your family knew nothing of this success. Why the secrecy? I smile, choosing my words carefully. Success doesn't need anyone's permission. I kept it secret to protect SolarCore's vision from doubts, whether from family or anyone else. When you're building something world-changing, you need focus, not arguments. She nods, shifting to technology. SolarCore's panels have double the efficiency of competitors. How'd you do it? We're not just improving panels. I explain. We're redefining energy storage. SolarCore's systems can power a city for 48 hours, without sunlight. That's the future, and we're leading it. The interview wraps up, and I leave the studio feeling lighter. I've told the world about SolarCore, but I know my family remains my biggest test. Back at the office, Noah's waiting. Stocks up 15% after the Forbes piece and CNBC. He reports, grinning broadly. Tokyo markets open strong. Ready for the board meeting? I nod, but my mind's still in Lahala. My phone buzzes, a text from Megan. Ethan, we need to talk. James texts, congrats, little bro. Call me. Even Mark sends an awkward apology. About that pitch, maybe I was wrong. Lunch sometime? I ignore them all, except one from Ava. Dad, you were awesome on TV. So proud. I smile, texting back. Thanks, kid. I'm proud of you too. I stand by the window, looking at San Diego's dazzling lights. My family might be regrouping, trying to reconcile with my success. But I don't need apologies. I've proven what I needed, not just to them, but to myself. SolarCore is proof I didn't need permission to succeed. But thinking of Ava, I know I still want to mend things with Megan. Not because she was right, but because I still love her. That's the next battle, and I'm ready. I remember those early days in Chula Vista, an industrial area far from Lahala's glamour. SolarCore's first office was a small warehouse, peeling walls, the smell of old motor oil. Me, Noah, and 3 young engineers, a team of just 5, worked at folding tables, surrounded by crates of components and whiteboards covered in chemical equations. No big capital, no investors. I dipped into personal savings to pay the team, buy equipment, and keep the dream alive. Every night, returning to the small apartment I rented to cut costs, I saw Megan's worried look. She didn't say it, but I knew she was scared. Scared we'd lose the house, lose Ava's future. The first months were hell. I flew everywhere, from San Francisco to Tokyo, pitching our idea for ultra-efficient solar panels to investors. Most smirked. Double the efficiency of competitors, sounds nice, but got proof. One guy in Silicon Valley flat out said, Ethan, you're too old for this startup game. Go back to finance. I clenched my teeth, swallowed my anger, and kept going. I knew I wasn't wrong. Our panel formula, though rough, showed test results far beyond anything on the market. But no one wanted to bet on a 43-year-old nobody. Megan started noticing I was pulling from our savings. One night, she confronted me in the kitchen, her voice trembling. Ethan, how much money have you sunk into that company? You're gambling Ava's future. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. You want to be a hero? Please, think about this family. She turned away, leaving me with heavy silence. I wanted to tell her about the sleepless nights, about the first successful panel test, when the team cheered in the warehouse. But I didn't. I was afraid if she knew the truth, that SolarCore was surviving on savings and my willpower, she'd worry even more. So I kept it secret, not just from her, but from the whole family. Then the game changer came. After 18 months of struggle, a German investment fund reached out. They'd seen our test report at a Berlin conference. Your panels store energy 60% longer than competitors, their rep said, voice brimming with excitement. We want to invest. The first funding round brought in $50 million, enough to expand the team, rent cutting-edge labs, and sign deals with major corporations. But I still kept it secret. Not because I didn't trust Megan or my family, but because I needed to shield SolarCore from the skeptical looks, the judgments that nearly killed my dream 20 years ago. I opened my eyes, back in SolarCore's office. The whiteboard in front of me is now covered with diagrams for a new energy storage system, ready for Project Nova, a global clean energy network. I think of Megan, of her hurt look when she learned I hid everything. I think of Ava, and her text after the CNBC interview. So proud. The struggles in Chula Vista forged me, but they also built a wall between me and my family. SolarCore's success proves I was right, but it doesn't erase the pain of those lonely months. I pick up my phone, my finger hovering over Megan's text. Ethan, we need to talk. I haven't replied, not out of anger, but because I need time to figure out what I want from her, from this family. But looking out at San Diego, I know one thing for sure. SolarCore isn't just my company. It's a promise to Ava that her dad will never give up on a dream, no matter the cost. Megan's in the small meeting room. Lynn says, her voice calm but her eyes showing a hint of concern. She's been waiting 2 hours. Security didn't let her up here, per protocol. I raise an eyebrow. 2 hours. Megan's not the patient type, especially when she's mad. I picture the small meeting room. Old wooden table, hard chairs, no windows. I designed it that way on purpose, to make uninvited guests feel uneasy. All right, I say. I'll go down. But first, get the board meeting materials ready. I spend a few more minutes reviewing the new contract, as if delaying the meeting. But the truth is, I'm not sure I'm ready to face Megan. Not because I'm scared, but because I know this conversation won't be easy. Finally, I head to the meeting room, where Megan sits, her high bun now slightly messy, her Chanel bag on the table like a shield. She stands as I walk in, her eyes flaring. Seriously, Ethan? You had security keep me here for 2 hours. I'm your wife. They know who you are. I say, sitting across from her. That's why they followed protocol. Megan takes a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Your mom's crying, you know. Your dad hasn't gone to work. They feel betrayed. And she pauses, her voice trembling. I feel like I don't even know you anymore. Betrayed? I raise an eyebrow. My voice colder than I meant. Because I succeeded. Because I'm independent. Or because you couldn't brag about me like you do, James. That's not it. Megan almost shouts. We're family, Ethan. I should have been part of this. All those dinners, those charity events, where I hyped up James and only said you were finding your way. How do you think I felt learning you hid a $4 billion empire from me? I look at her, seeing real pain in her eyes. You didn't ask, Meg. No one did. You were too busy feeling superior, judging me, to see what I was building. Megan shakes her head, eyes welling up. Mark wants to partner. He says he's sorry, that he can help SolarCore. I laugh, unable to hold it back. Mark, the guy who called my company a joke to investors. I have the recording, Meg. 3 failed startups, 2 SEC warnings for shady deals, and a trust fund running dry. That's the Mark you want me to partner with. Megan freezes, her hand gripping her Chanel bag. He didn't. She stops, realizing the truth. How do you know so much? I know everything about anyone who tries to do business with SolarCore. I say, pulling out my phone, opening Mark's pitch file. He's been bad-mouthing me to investors for 2 years. Joke, amateurs. His words. I don't work with people like that. Megan looks down, her voice soft. So what do you want? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. The whole family's sorry. Just don't shut us out. I look at her hand on mine, still wearing the wedding ring I gave her 20 years ago. I don't want anything from you, Meg. I say, my voice softer. That's the point. I built SolarCore without you, without the family, without anyone's approval. And I'll keep going that way. She looks up, eyes red. What about family? Me, Ava, don't we matter to you anymore? I sigh, a heavy weight on my chest. Family should have trusted me, even without $4 billion. Family should have asked about my dream, not called it a situation. Family should have seen who I am, not who you wanted me to be. Megan pulls her hand back, silent. I stand. I have to go. Board meeting. You know the way out. At SolarCore's large boardroom, the board is waiting. The investors, mostly older men who once doubted me, now sit upright as I walk in. Funny how a few $1 billion can change people's posture. I stand at the head of the table, opening the big screen. Before we start, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the Forbes article was strategic. Yes, the timing was deliberate. And no, this doesn't change how we operate. Noah, my CFO, presents the latest quarter's numbers. The growth charts look like mountain ranges. Steep, impressive, undeniable. As you can see, I continue. The decision to operate in stealth while building the technology paid off. We're not just leading the market. We are the market. One investor, who once suggested I hire a more experienced CEO, clears his throat. The numbers are impressive, but public attention changes things. Your family, my family has nothing to do with SolarCore's operations. I cut in, flipping to a new slide. What matters is the next step. Project Nova. The room goes silent as I present the global clean energy system. New panel tech that can power a city for 72 hours without sunlight. The investors gape, some scribbling notes furiously. Lynn slides me a note. Megan's still in the lobby. Says she won't leave until you talk again. I keep presenting but quickly text security. Let her wait. I know I need to talk to Megan, but not now. Not when I'm shaping SolarCore's future. As the meeting ends, Noah claps my shoulder. You shut them up. Now what? Talk to Megan. I look out the window. San Diego's lights reminding me of those nights in Chula Vista, when only my dream kept me going. Not yet, I say, but I will. My way. The board meeting just wrapped, with Project Nova, a global clean energy network, leaving the investors speechless. But my mind's not here. It drifts to Megan, to her hurt look in the small meeting room, to Ava's words, I'm so proud. I've proven to the world that SolarCore Technologies is a $4 billion empire. But my family, Megan, Ava, and even my parents, remains an unanswered question. My phone buzzes, a text from Lynn. Megan wants to arrange a family meeting at SolarCore. She's asking if you're okay with it. I smile, texting back, fine. Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Tell her to wear comfortable shoes. This building's big. The meeting happens on a cool San Diego evening. The sunset painting the glass facade of SolarCore's headquarters golden. I stand in the lobby, wearing my familiar Goodwill jacket. Not because I can't afford better, but because it reminds me of my journey. Megan walks in first, in a simple work dress, hair neatly pinned, her eyes a mix of worry and hope. Ava's beside her, beaming when she sees me. James, my brother, and my parents, Eleanor and Charles, follow looking awkward in SolarCore's sleek modern space. Mark's not here. I made it clear to Megan. He's not invited, not out of spite, but because I don't work with people who lack transparency. Welcome to SolarCore. I say, my voice even but tinged with pride. I lead them through glass hallways, where large screens display real-time data, contracts with Tesla, Walmart, Apple. I take them to the lab, where engineers test new energy panels, blue light from the equipment illuminating focused faces. Ava's jaw drops, lightly touching a sample panel. Dad, this can really power a whole city. Yep, I reply, smiling. And we're going bigger. Megan looks around, her eyes shifting from hurt to awe. Ethan, I had no idea. She whispers, everything you've done, it's really changing the world. James, usually smug, stands still, hands in pockets, as if trying to process SolarCore's scale. You did good, Ethan, he says, his voice awkward. We were wrong. My dad, Charles, steps forward, his eyes softer than usual. Son, I remember when you made that panel model in high school. I called it childish. I didn't know you'd come this far. My mom, Eleanor, holds his hand, eyes welling up. We just wanted you to be safe, Ethan. But we were wrong not to believe in you. I nod, saying nothing. Their apologies are genuine, but they don't erase 20 years of judgment. I turn to Megan. What do you think, Meg? Still see me as a situations to fix? She gives a sad smile, shaking her head. I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't see you, the real you. I'm taking a renewable energy course, you know. Just a basic one, but I want to understand what you've built. Her words stop me. Megan, who always prioritized financial security, is trying to step into my world. I look at Ava, who nods encouragingly. Dad, I want to intern here this summer. Ava says, her voice excited. I want to learn how to do what you do. I laugh, feeling lighter than I have all evening. All right, kid, but you'll have to work hard. I set one final boundary. One condition, I say, looking at the family. Mark's out. He badmouthed SolarCore, and I bought his debt through a subsidiary to protect your sister, Meg. But he's got to own his mistakes. Megan nods. No objection. I understand. And thank you for my sister. The meeting ends, and the family leaves, but Megan stays behind. She takes my hand, her voice soft. Can we start over, Ethan? Not like before, but better? I look into her eyes, seeing the woman I fell in love with 20 years ago. We'll try, Meg, I say, but my way. A month later, I'm in my office, looking out at a radiant San Diego. SolarCore announced Project Nova, pushing the company's value to $5 billion. Industry leaders call our panel technology revolutionary. But I'm no longer hiding in the shadows. Lynn walks in, handing me a framed photo. From Ava, she says. It's a picture of me in high school, standing by my homemade panel, grinning confidently. Below it is the Forbes article, headlined, "Success needs no permission, only vision." I hang the frame on the wall, next to other headlines. SolarCore redefines clean energy. Ethan Brooks, billion-dollar CEO from the shadows. I think back to those nights in Chula Vista, when only my dream kept me standing. Megan's now taking an energy course. And we've started weekly family dinners. Things aren't perfect. Families are messy. But I've set clear boundaries. Ava comes to the office every weekend, her eyes lighting up as she learns about energy panels. I stand before the SolarCore team, announcing the next phase of Project Nova. Success, I say, isn't about proving others wrong. It's about building what you believe in, no matter what anyone says. As the stage lights dim, I look out at San Diego, knowing I didn't just build an empire. I built a legacy, for Ava, for Megan, and for myself. The hardest journey wasn't creating SolarCore. It was teaching my family to see me, not the Ethan they once knew, but the Ethan I've become. The story of Ethan Brooks, and my wife called a family meeting to help my failed business. Then she saw the Forbes article, reflects the values and challenges of today's U.S. startup culture, where innovation, perseverance, and family pressures intertwine. Ethan, a 45-year-old in San Diego, ditches a stable finance career to chase his dream of renewable energy with SolarCore Technologies. Despite judgment from his wife Megan, brother James, and family, he faces criticism familiar in modern American society, where success is often measured by financial stability and social status, like James's Mercedes or the lavish La Hala. Yet Ethan's secret building of a $5 billion empire, revealed through a Forbes article, shows the power of staying true to a personal vision, even when misunderstood. His confrontation with Mark, who called his company a joke, and his reconciliation with Megan, who studies renewable energy to understand her husband, highlight the importance of setting boundaries and finding mutual understanding in family. In America's culture, where the pressure of traditional success often overshadows personal dreams, stay resilient like Ethan, but also learn to communicate openly, to avoid alienating family. Don't let judgments, like those from James or Mark, shake your belief. Set clear goals, like Ethan did with Project Nova, and leverage innovation like SolarCore's panel tech to make your mark. Above all, cherish those like Ava, ready to believe in you, and build bridges with those like Megan, willing to learn. Success isn't just about money, it's about living true to your values, as Ethan did in San Diego. Subscribe to the channel to follow the journeys of people like Ethan Brooks, turning clean energy dreams into reality. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video with more inspiring stories from San Diego.